Good morning, everybody. My name is Bobby Warshell. I'm the Partner Channel Manager here at Emergency Reporting. We are doing a partner webinar today, spotlighting the partner first arriving and their dashboards and the integration they have to emergency reporting. If you have questions, this will be not a real long demo. Typically we run about an hour. This one may run about 30 minutes. But if you have questions, please use the GoToWebinar question interface and we will watch those on the outside and stop periodically and let Ross answer some of those questions. But also at the end, we'll probably open up all the mics and let you guys have just an open general Q&A session as we go. If any of you were on the webinar we had a couple months ago, again, I want to apologize for some of the technical difficulties we had. We had audio problems, we had power problems, you name it. Hopefully that won't happen today and we should be good to go. So with that, we have Ross Hopkins on the line with first arriving, and he's going to start with his webinar.
Great, thanks, Bobby. Perfect. First off, thanks everybody for joining this afternoon or morning, depending on where you're located. Also, thanks to Bobby and Emergency Reporting for organizing this and allowing us some time to showcase the dashboards, how they work, and how also they effortlessly integrate with emergency reporting. My name is Ross Hopkins, Product Director here for the dashboards at First Arriving. I've been involved with the product from the infant stages, where it started with the department just north of Indianapolis. Our dashboards is a 24/7 tool that combines internal communications, situational awareness, and real-time dispatch information on designated displays that are scattered throughout your stations. The purpose of the displays is to display information that's important to you guys, and it will automatically rotate to show the most important information as it pertains to you. You guys can see my screen now. I'm basically going to go through different sections that we have here. We put together a demo for this webinar. All of the screens that you see here is just something that we've kind of come up with in conjunction with items that are in production in departments throughout the country. One of the things that I want you to keep in mind is everything that you see here is actually customizable to you. Every department is going to have different pain points that they're trying to solve, especially when it comes to internal communications. It could be as simple as you guys email a bunch of things and you want to use emergency reporting on the daily log a lot more, and that will then feed over into the dashboards automatically, therefore not relying so much on emails. As you can see here, I'll just kind of go through different things. First thing here is the header at the very top. We'll name this based on your shift. There's some folks that is, shift A, B, and C, crews, units, you name it. We'll have that up there. Obviously your weather. So you'll have the current weather, the high, the lows, and then also the 3-day forecast. And then we also put the date and time and your department patch there. And that's going to stay consistent throughout the whole dashboard experience. Under the header is going to be information that is going to be important to you. In this example here, we're focusing on road closures, so we can have a map that shows maybe where there's heavy traffic for rush hour in the morning or afternoon. Road closures, traffic events. There's some folks that have feeds that come from the county to mention that there's going to be a new roundabout put in, or they are going to be paving the intersection type of thing. You're going to know that ahead of time, and you can take that and put it into the dashboard so everybody can see. Moving along, we'll also have, let's see here, the schedule events. Let me reload. Sorry, internet. Okay, all right. Schedule. is a very big one. I think probably 100% of all of our clients utilize scheduling. We can show the current schedule, who's on today, maybe what they're writing, and also who's on tomorrow, the next 2 days, next 3 days. If you're a department that is on 24, off 48, it's pretty common to have 4 different columns that will show who's on today, but also on your next shift. Maybe somebody's on vacation, there's opportunity for overtime, that type of thing. I would say throughout the last 2 years or so, one of the big things that people are trying to show is turnout times and be able to increase those or decrease them, however you want to look at it, right? Being able to hold accountable if you guys are in 90%, 80%, if you're getting out the door in enough time. If today the engine is running at 100% and the ambulance is at 80%, what's the reason for that? Also, you've got area hospitals and we could show that that could come from other sources such as First Watch or other sources that could be available to you. Here's an example of what's on ER. We can have today's roster. That is definitely a module in there. Turnout times can also come from ER. And then there's also the daily logs that could be used for a variety of things, as you all know. And then also we've got certifications. This is just a couple examples of what we've got within ER. Expanding upon weather, all of our customers do get a full-blown weather page that's going to include the temperature, wind speeds, wind directions, some other fun things, dew points, and humidity. All of that stuff can play a factor, especially if you get a working fire. You also get a radar as well, that if there is rain or snow in the area, it will show, and it is motion, so you can see how that storm is tracking. Unit status is something else that's a big issue. If I'm on vacation and I come back in, I'm gonna wanna know where's the ambulance at. Well, I can look and see that ambulance 3 is out of service, but it's in the station because of inspection. All that information is going to be available at a glance on all of your dashboards scattered throughout. This information can come from a variety of sources. We've got probably 60 plus integration partners, ER being a premier one, of course, and we can pull that data. Whenever a call, well, let me go back onto scheduling here. Here's just another example of what we've done with another scheduling provider out there. This one would be CrewSense or Target Solutions scheduling right now. This is current day and the next day. Then they also have a notes and activities section. Again, whenever changes are made within that software, it will be reflected on the dashboards. So you don't have to duplicate any efforts there. Here's another example of how we separate it out by station. So you can see exactly who is at a particular station and what unit they are on. Okay, went along. Flight aware, maybe you're located near an airport and your first due is at the airport or around it. You can see what airlines are coming in or departing, just so you can have that schedule there. Social media, Facebook and Twitter is big nowadays, as you all know. A lot of our departments will put maybe the city Facebook feed on there, just so folks can see what's going on throughout the city. Also, I'll talk more about this later, but this NOC chart is pretty nice, and this is coming from emergency reporting. So you can really see where your units are going, what kind of runs you're going on, and that given time can be specified by you guys. So it could be month to date, it could be year to date, quarter to date. It's up to you. Mapping, of course, is another big thing. And then also traffic cams, as you can see here. We do work with Esri for all of their mapping solutions. There's a good chance that everybody on this call today, their department and or city utilizes Esri GIS. And it's used for a variety of things. This example is showing where wrecks or arrests have happened fairly recently. Here's an example of recent alarms that they've went to. And here is just a first due area. One of the other big things that a lot of agencies will like to utilize is actually Google Slides, which is essentially Google's version of PowerPoint. Think of this as a blank canvas to communicate anything and everything that you want that you might not have a designated software for. A lot of agencies are using this as an example as a pre-plan of the week. Oh, sorry, let me go back to it. They're using it as a pre-plan of the week. And then also leadership can go up to them and ask, you know, is it an 8-inch main, a 6-inch main outside type of thing. There's also people are taking note of this and using this as a training tool for all crews, especially drivers. And at any point, leadership can go up to them and say, hey, where is, you know, this location type thing. Maybe you just want to have different views of training updates. Maybe you're a volunteer. This is actually a good segue to the equipment certification here. Another way that folks utilize the Google environment is utilizing Sheets, which is their version of Excel. We have a ton of different templates for any type of information that you guys would like to show that, again, you don't have an environment for. This could be anything from a CBA's, certificate tracking, equipment, apparatus out of service type thing. Obviously color code, maybe certifications are going to be expiring and we mark those red if they already have, and yellow if they're coming on board. Here is another example of a roster. This particular example is something that will actually not rotate. Just the individual sections will rotate to show additional information. Again, however you feel that you want to lay out the sections or your dashboards is perfectly fine. We're going to work with you to figure out the best use case for you. Expanding on this screen and the last one, we do have videos here. We can display YouTube playlists or videos individually on a scheduled basis. So the biggest use case there is between 8 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. folks will display a playlist channel from YouTube. And it's only that, and personnel is going to come to know that at 8 a.m. that's what's going to show. And then also, again, maybe at say 3:30 p.m. And then after that set time frame, it goes back to your normal rotation. Let's see, here is just another example of department news, station news. I'll use this as an opportunity to say that you can segment different types of data, right? So department news is going to be for the whole department, but maybe you've got 5 different departments within your station. You can actually have a dedicated section for that individual station so they have some ownership as to what's going on. And it will not overcrowd the other stuff with information that doesn't necessarily pertain to that station. So this is a good example of being able to show multiple things on different types of dashboards. Again, here is an example of Check It from Target Solutions, and then also some training stuff within Target Solutions. So you can, for lack of a better word, you can name shame a little bit, so you can basically get a little kick in the rear. So hey, go get this done. And it's nobody wants their name to be shown up there, so that will be there to eliminate that, right? This is one of those sections that you actually would like to have blank. check it. Of course, the units, the status, how many work orders are there? Is there any? And we bring light to all of that. And again, this is all real time and it's all automated for you guys. So there's no duplication of efforts. Let's see. Let's say you've, with 2020, obviously COVID is still a thing. We had a lot of agencies display the COVID-19 dashboard from Johns Hopkins. They put this on there. This is an example that we could actually just display a website if there's something that you have created internally or something that you just want to display because of what's going on in your state, city, or the country type thing, such as this. We started out with doing the worldwide one, and then a lot of departments came to us and wanted to put their own county or state specific info there. Calendars, that's a big one. Everybody wants to know what's going on today, and then also what's coming up in the future, or what you might have missed because you were on vacation. Maybe the mayor's coming for a visit, or there's a school visit tomorrow at 9 a.m. I had forgotten about that. Well, now I know that it's there. We can do different views with the calendar. It could be a 2-week view, as you see here. We could do a rolling 2-week view. We can do a daily. We can do a monthly. It really is up to you how much events you're trying to show at a given time. But again, we can utilize different calendar sources. We could even utilize Google Calendar if that would work for you as well. Let's see, we'll go to Telestaff, another example of a scheduling software. This is just a different way that we have laid it out. We've color coded based on what you think is going to be easy to read. Here again, we've spread it out by different stations. If you are a bigger department, multiple stations. And then here we've also separated by the unit. So you know exactly who is where, and also who the battalion is. We coupled this screen here, as you can tell, with the weather. So this is a good example of, you don't have to go with our full-blown header page if you would like. You can actually switch that and just have the radar or just have the text. It's completely up to you guys. Now, I'd like to go into a little bit more detail on what we've done with emergency reporting. Here, these next few pages are all going to be things that we have done with emergency reporting and is actually live in a department today. Here we've added equipment maintenance and complete reports, the daily log. You also see the name of it, obviously when it was updated. Incomplete reports, who still has something out there that needs to be complete. Equipment maintenance, same thing. Is everything good there? Is there an issue that needs to be addressed? Oh, sorry, that was my fault. Here is some of the same information, as you can see, but we laid it out differently. So now we got 4 different quadrants here. So we've just got the staffing, daily log, apparatus maintenance. Each one of these sections will scroll individually if there is additional info that needs to be shown. But this is going to provide more information at one time, and this screen could show for 60 seconds. And within that 60 seconds, you now know the daily log, staffing, apparatus, equipment maintenance. Here is an example of the calendar. Earlier I mentioned we can do multiple views. Again, that was my fault. Multiple views, here's 3 weeks, for instance. And here is how we're displaying a calendar in a list view. So it doesn't look like an actual calendar. We'll just display the calendar. Maybe we just do it the current day or the next day. And then also classes. Maybe you've got another calendar set up for that. Again, here's just another way that we've laid out different items: apparatus out of service, hydrants out of service, open burn permits. They all kind of are in the same category. So we group those all together. My fault. And again, here we're just showing a list view. Maybe you're going to end up having more entries. Here is the NOC chart that you saw earlier. This is just a different view. Maybe this is one of those points that you just want to always bring attention to. It's really nice. It's powerful. You can really see where all the units are going. Here is an Esri map that's got pin dots on just the recent calls. Again, this is all coming from ER. And then also, shoot. Again, my fault, guys. Here's the staffing. And then we also have this, which is fairly new, runs per person. So you can see who all has done that apparatus status. Same thing, just a different view. Whatever is most important to you guys, that's what we're going to focus on. Turnout times, I talked about that earlier. We can separate it by different shifts, so you can kind of create that competition among everybody. You can even go a little bit deeper and show, shoot. Come on. And you can even show per unit as well. So that's really good way to hold people accountable and make sure that your response times are as good as they could be. Incomplete reports, daily log, again, just different views. Here is an example of 3 days out. Last shift's incidents. So you got the ID number if you need to go and reference it, the different addresses, the types, times, again, all automated from ER. And there's just a different view there. So that is what we've got in production right now. Well, this is only a snapshot, of course. We have a ton of different things that we have out there. Again, everybody's issue that they're trying to solve with communications is going to be separate, is going to be different from even the neighboring department, and that's perfectly fine. We're going to work with you on that. Some of the new things that we have done recently, I've been controlling this presentation with a menu up here on the top right. This is something that we've added in the last few months. So if you've got, 9 or 12 different sections maybe, and I come into the station and I want to know the schedule, I can just grab that mouse and then click right on the schedule, and it goes directly to that. If there is no interaction with the dashboard itself, it's going to automatically scroll on a time that works for you. Maybe the schedule is up for 60 seconds, the weather is up for 30 seconds. Again, it's completely customizable to you. So all of our dashboards are now shipping with this menu. So that is a great tool to have for you. It also allows more information that you can put on without there being a very long loop time, which is really nice. The other thing that we are adding ability to do here in the very near future would be conference calls, especially with COVID. We're going to provide ability for folks to start a Zoom meeting on their computer, and agencies could actually log in on the dashboards. It's not live yet. We're still ironing out a couple things, but look for that in the very near future. And then just past that, we are also working on the capability for you guys to have a little bit more hands-on experience with the dashboards and be able to push your own messages that could either take up the header, the footer as a ticker that you're all familiar with, that you've seen down here at the bottom. And then maybe it's something that you really want to show attention to. You can take over the full screen with an image. So that is going to be the situational awareness and the internal communications aspect. The other big feature that our dashboards do offer you guys is visualizing dispatch information. Whenever you guys get a call and you're dispatched, your screen is going to automatically take over with the call notes of that dispatch. By default, we like to show the nature of the call, the address, the units dispatched, and notes that come through. And then under that, we can do some fun things with Esri Maps. That could be an example that you see here, such as a map with a path from the station to the scene. And then on the right side is going to be the incident location and overhead view with your closest hydrants. You also will get the distance and the time. So the drivers know essentially how far they have to go. Do they turn right? Are they heading north? Are they heading south on Interstate 1? That type of thing. Here is the same example, however, we added static street view. So you can actually get a snapshot of the structure that you're going to. Maybe it's you're going to a residential fire or a medic call that is in a cul-de-sac. Whenever you pull in, you'll know that it's on the right side of the road or it's on the left side of the road, that type of thing. So that's going to be another great situational awareness piece for you. Here's another view that we have that is more in your face with the nature of the call. Maybe somebody was working out in the bay and they had a drill running or something and they didn't quite hear the overhead tones on if it was an apartment fire, if it was a medic call, etc. It's going to be shown, big text right there. People are going to know who they're responding to. And then on the left side, you've got your map with path again. Also on all of these screens, you saw a timer at the top right. And that will start as soon as the call is displayed. So you're going to know how long it's been since that call was dispatched. Again, help with the response times. There's a good, maybe 3 people have to ride out, 2 people are in the truck at the 38-second mark, and then the last one wasn't there till a minute 20. They'll say, "Where the heck have you been?" And it's going to be visual and it's there. So it's another way, again, to help get a little more pep in the step and get out the door. Here's same view with the text on the right. However, we added a satellite map instead of just a regular overhead map. So you can maybe see the terrain. Is it across the street from a field? Is it right off the interstate? How close is it to the airport? That type of thing. Again, it's going to help provide the driver some more confidence. They know exactly where they're going, and then also prepare everybody else for what it is that they're going to. Here is an example of no map. Maybe the first due is a fairly small area. You really know it like the back of your hand. It's more important for the responders to know what it is that they're going to, and that it was a 2-car accident with 1 overturned. Maybe that's more important, and you just have the text there, no map, and then also what units are due. And here, this is just another example of that screen as well. The alarm screen will stay for a duration of your choosing. I would say a lot of our career departments, the average time is, say, 2 minutes. Maybe volunteer, you'd be at 10 minutes. It's completely up to you. You guys do what you think is going to work best. It's also not uncommon for new clients to get their dashboards up and running, and then they get different feedback from other personnel and want to make changes. That's part of what's included with our service. We are here to work with everybody. What you think makes sense during your implementation call very well might not work out in your setting, and that's what we're here for, and we're going to work with you on that. After the alarm duration runs out, it's going to go right back to your rotation and show all of that, all the other information that you would like to have. That is a pretty good rundown, overview of what we've got today and what is coming up here in the future. I'd like to see if anybody has any questions, if you want to talk about any specific integrations with ER or otherwise, and we can have an open discussion. I'm more than happy to help out.
Great, Ross. We do have one question, but I'm also gonna unlock the mics as well. I saw a hand go up just a minute ago from Alex, but we got a question from Jeff. Can you have neighboring departments that are using ER show their rosters and current incidents? So kind of a mutual aid thing where they can have insight possibly into neighboring departments, be able to see share their roster, those kind of things.
Absolutely. We definitely have done that in the past. We're more than happy to do so. Example is we could have, we did a county example not too long ago, and one of the screens would be, let me just go to it right away. One of the screens could be this, and that's your own department, but then the next screen would actually be the neighboring departments, so you can see who's riding what personnel, that type of thing. So that is definitely something we can do. We will have you basically have a mutual data exchange type thing, but that's all it is. Absolutely, we can do that.
Okay. The microphone should be unlocked. You should be able to unmute yourself and ask a question. So I think the first one went up was Alex. Go ahead.
Hey there. I apologize, I missed the very beginning, but I assume it's a seamless integration with emergency reporting, and does it work with Active 911 as well?
That's correct. We do work with emergency reporting, and then we also work with Active 911. We can use Active 911 to display your real-time alarms. Maybe we can also use it to show your recent alarms as well. So maybe the last 3 calls you went to the north end of the city or the town. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And John, you had your hand up.
Yes, good afternoon. I have a question and this might be more of an ER question. I like the display where you show the turnout times and you can split that up by station. Is there a way to display the staffing also of what rode that first out apparatus, or is it just the turnout time?
We can do the turnout, and then we can also do this staffing. Well, actually, are you asking about the staffing of the folks that were actually on that shift?
It's a great question. So we're a combination department. So no, we have career guys that are supplemented with volunteers. So we would look for the overall staffing that made the apparatus when it responded.
Gotcha. That actually is a new one. However, it really should be possible to do. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We have another question from Jason. How does the turnout times work? Where does it pull the information from?
Great question. Turnout times, we can definitely pull from ER, as you saw in this example. I'll go back to it just so you can look real quick. We can get it from a module within ER. There's also been some cases where we've got it from, say, First Watch, or we've actually been able to get it directly from CAD in some instances.
So typically, and I can kind of answer the ER side, if you have a CAD feed coming into ER, yes, you know that you're going to get your base units and your base call times from there. Or at the end, as the users finish their fire report and they put the rest of the times into that call, that's the table Ross is speaking of where they're pulling that data from to give the metric on how the turnout times look. So it's pulling from that apparatus table inside each of the incidents.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Bobby.
Any other questions? Like I said, the mics are open. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. We've got plenty of time. We knew this was going to be not as long as most, but we knew there was a lot of stuff here to cover. But feel free if you want to ask any more questions or have a conversation about something. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Somebody was speaking. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just a quick question. Do you normally recommend one monitor or two monitors for displaying all this information, or like, can we split out some of the functions to two different screens? What normally do you guys recommend? Just trying to picture from an IT standpoint how many screens we need to pull this off.
The amount of screens is really going to be up to you guys. Well, I guess let me ask you this. When you talk about screens, are you talking about an individual dashboard that you're seeing here, or are you talking about physical TVs in the stations?
Well, it's, for example, in our station, in our main bays, we have two large plasma screens. Would I be able to create two different type dashboards to contain two different sets of information, or is everything usually contained in one single dashboard? Like, there's so many features that we'd like from this, we're trying to figure out how do you narrow it down to display.
Great question. We can definitely segment different types of data to go on different dashboards. So in your scenario, maybe in the bays, you've got alarms that will come through, obviously, because everybody's going to be running out of there. And maybe you've got equipment maintenance, apparatus maintenance. Maybe you've got road closures or something like that. And those are the only screens that will rotate in those two locations. When you go inside, maybe we've got those three screens as well, but then we also have your scheduling, and we've got your turnout times, and we've got other types of data. That's absolutely fine. We do that all the time. And then also, to the point of what I said earlier, you can even have different types of information at different stations. So maybe their own individual station news that only shows there and at station 81 and not at station 82. Does that help?
Yes, that helps. And I assume every location will be a separate box. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ross, it might be a good time to kind of speak to the device itself that's actually plugging into the TV.
Sure. So as of now, our dashboards are running on Chrome OS. So we do utilize a Chrome box for those. They are meant for basically 24/7 operation. We do inventory them. And when you do sign on with us, we will preload that Chrome box with your dashboard and ship it to you. We also include a HDMI cable there. The Chrome boxes do support Wi-Fi, internet connectivity, and they also have an Ethernet port if it's feasible to hardwire. Hardwire is usually, the best route to go, but more often than not, it's not feasible to run a cable to it. So there is definitely a nice Wi-Fi card in there that will grab that signal. We are working on some other devices and some other platforms for you, but as of right now, that's going to be the best route to go for the best experience.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Well, it sounds like we may have covered everything. I'm not seeing any more questions or hands up or any of that. So, Ross, unless you got a few more comments, I think we're good.
And I think I'm good as well. I encourage everybody to check out our website, firstarriving.com, and click on the emergency reporting integration. There's also a bunch of other ones listed there. If you're trying to, find different ideas and figure out what you would like to display, just look there. There is a ton of screenshots that we've put together for you to help get or to help provide food for thought there. And also, again, just try to think of what is, the pain points within your department. And once you have those written down, collectively, we'll be able to figure out the absolute best way to communicate that info and relieve that pain point. That's basically it. I'm looking forward to talking to everybody that was on here, and look forward to having you up and running.
Great, thank you, Ross. Last comment, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our sales reps at ER. as a premier partner, we can resell some of the first arriving products and product listings. So please reach out. We'll have that conversation, and if we need to, we can bring in Ross and his team to answer further conversations as well. Look forward to working with everybody, and thank you for attending today's webinar.
Yes,
Have a good
thanks
day.
everybody, and stay safe.